If you're watching this video, you are probably struggling with the same problems I struggled with many years ago. And those problems are trying to get in shape and trying to get closer to Allah. And I can guarantee that whatever you've been trying to do in order to fix this, if you've been trying to fix this, haven't worked up until now. And how do I know that? Well, because I've done the same things. I've also tried these extreme diet plans that stopped me from eating the things I loved and, put me in a really bad place where I just ate foods I didn't even enjoy. And now let's not talk about those intense workout plans that, 1 hour cardio in the beginning of the workout and then 1 hour gym in the same day. And you had to do this for at least like 4, 5, or 6 times a week. And the worst part of it all was I never got any results. I was spending so much time and energy on this. I didn't have anything to show for. And the same thing with the Islamic habits. I went all in, guys. You wouldn't believe. I tried to memorize as much as possible every single day and, pray all the sunnah. And I could do that, sure, a couple of weeks, maybe a month. But then after that, I got tired. I couldn't keep it up. And I fell back into the same old habits. I got really tired of it. And I'm sure you're really tired of it. Doing all of these things, having nothing to show for, and just feeling really bad about yourself, having low confidence and having no energy and feeling far away from Allah. Your man is at rock bottom. So I found a way to fix it. And it's much easier than you think. And I promise you, this is not something you've seen before. It's something that we Muslims have forgot. Because the crazy part is that this method I'm about to tell you in this video is that it's been around for over 1,400 years. Yes, we can find it in the Quran and in the Sunnah. And yes, it will help you to get in shape once and for all, fix those bad habits, and get closer to Allah. But before we start, please, this is really important. If you want this short video to change your life, there are a few things you need to do. First, watch this video from the beginning to the end, all right? It's a short video, so it will be worth it, inshallah. And then secondly, remove all distractions. If you can watch this when you're alone, that's better, in a quiet place. Put your phone on airplane mode and just focus. And also, if you can, get a piece of paper, a pen, or whatever you want to write down your notes on. And I promise you, if you just write down at least one thing from this video and start acting on that one thing today, it will change your life. Because this method I'm about to tell you is that powerful. And it's not a coincidence because, as I said, it's from the Quran and the Sunnah. So let's get into it, inshallah. So this is the method, the Sunnah protocol. And this is how you can achieve your dream body without doing diet plans and workout plans. And you can get closer to Allah with Islamic habits. So the thing is with this, as I said, this is from the Quran and the Sunnah. And this protocol, the Sunnah protocol, is from one of the most powerful and famous hadith I've heard in my entire life. I remember when I heard it the first time when I became a Muslim many years ago, and it blew my mind, guys. Listen to this. This is the Hadith Jibreel, and I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, have heard it. This is when Jibreel alayhi salam taught us Islam. And if you're not really sure what hadith I'm talking about, it's when Jibreel alayhi salam came in the shape of a man to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he sat with his companions. May Allah be pleased with them. And they didn't know him. They'd never seen him before. No trace of travel at all. And he started asking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam all these questions, right? And I want to focus on the first 3 questions because it's a longer hadith. And the 3 questions, as you can see, is what is Islam? What is Iman? And what is Ihsan, right? So when Jibreel alayhi salam asked the Prophet these 3 questions, he mentioned that obviously Islam is, as we know, the 5 pillars of Islam. And then he asked about Iman, and the Prophet mentioned the 6 pillars of Iman, believing in Allah, in His angel, in the prophets, in His books, in the last day, the day of judgment, in the qadr, both the good and the bad and the evil in it. And then he asked about Ihsan, which can be roughly translated to goodness. And the Prophet mentioned, as you can see down here, I put a little text here, Ihsan is to worship Allah as if you see Him, for if you do not see Him, He surely sees you, right? So these are the 3 questions, first 3 questions at least, that Jibreel alayhi salam asked the Prophet. If you look at it from a practical standpoint, you can see a very interesting thing. And that is, firstly, when you look at Islam and you analyze it, it's actually just a set of habits, frequent behaviors you do on a consistent basis, on a regular basis. You got the 5 prayers, you got, Hajj, you got Ramadan, things that are happening frequently and regularly. Right? So the base is a system of habit. So look at this as some kind of guide whatever you want to do in your life. Now, if you want to get in shape, you want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to, fix your diet, you want to fix your behaviors, you want to get rid of bad habits, you want to get closer to Allah, you need to start with habits. And this is obviously something we all been doing. When we do those diet plans, we do those workout plans, we're trying to change our habits, right? But we're doing it the wrong way. I'm going to tell you why. We're going to go into these things more detail. But the first base part, the foundation, is having a system of habits. Next part is having a system for your mindset, something that can work on your mindset. And this is the second question that Jibreel alayhi salam asked. What is Iman? And Iman, if you think about it, a Muslim that has Iman, a lot of Iman, how is that person? Well, he's gonna have sabr, he's gonna have patience, he's gonna have shukr, he's gonna have tawakkul, he's gonna be confident, he's gonna be calm, balanced, even when things happening around the world. You see, subhanAllah, all brothers and sisters, all around the world, in all of these different places, in China, in Palestine, in all these places, they've lost everything, guys. But they still have the Iman. They are still, subhanAllah, so much stronger than we are. How? Because they have the mindset of a Muslim. And contrary to that, if you look at someone who doesn't have that Iman or weak Iman, then you see all these negative emotions, negative thinking, low confidence, anxiety, depression, sadness, grief. Sure, like if you have Iman, you can still feel these things. You're still a human being after all. But which of these feelings, the positive, negative, which one of them are taking the most place in your life, taking up the most time and energy right now? If it is the negative part, then you know that there's something you need to do with your mindset. And a big thing I see, and this is something I've, when I analyze myself and I see with other clients, is when you don't have the stronger Muslim mindset or a real Muslim mindset, you will see, characteristics or things in you, such as perfectionism. You need to go all in or all out, procrastination. These things that brings you further away from being a better you, an improved version of yourself. The last question Jibreel alayhi salam asked the Prophet is, what is ihsan? And that is the top. If you see on this triangle, the top, the very top, to have support. It's not that you think of Allah seeing you, that's only because He want to punish you. No, you know that Allah loves you. He's with you. He want to help you. He wants you to be close to Him, right? So that is the system of support. So if you think about it, these three parts, you got a system, a foundation of habits, right? That brings you closer to where you want to be. You got a mindset that makes sure that these habits are there and going to be there, right? Consistently. And then you got support, external support, because you cannot, alone fight your own demons. You cannot go and fight against your nafs, fight against shaitan's waswas, fight against negative thinking without having anyone around you. Having support, first and foremost, from Allah, having support from a close friend, a spouse, whatever that might be, right? So looking at this protocol, these three parts, it's a great concept, isn't it? But again, I want to make sure that it is practical. We can actually apply it in our life right now. So how can we do it? So what I've done is I've created 4 different steps that you need to go through to make sure that you're applying this in your life, right? And it's a very simple process. So the first step you need to take is taking care of your nutrition. Now, remember, we're not doing this and trying to follow a diet plan, and we're not trying to follow a workout plan. We are trying to fix what is broken, right? Because obviously, if you're not where you want to be right now, and you know where you want to be, you want to get in shape, you want to get closer to Allah, there's something stopping you, right? There's something in the way, standing in between you, the current you and the new version of you, the improved version of you. So something is broken. You need to find out how to overcome this. So looking at the nutrition, forget diets, right? There are 2 ways to work with it. And this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm teaching to all my clients. So you got a standard approach and a barrier approach. And I know it might sound weird. You never heard this before. I know. Let's break it down and make it really simple. The standard approach is basically your day-to-day life with your nutrition, right? Whatever you're eating consistently every single day. You might eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. You might skip breakfast. Whatever your lifestyle is, and we're not making judgment here. We're looking at your lifestyle, what you've been doing past couple of years, right? And then what we do is we take a look at these 4 different strategies, right? And the funny thing is that these 4 strategies is basically the summary of all the diets you can think of. So either you can track what you're eating, you can count calories, you can write it in a a notebook, food diary, or you can follow a meal plan. You can follow a set of recipes, or you can have some kind of portion control, or you can have time control, like fasting, right? And I know you might be thinking, but Simon, I thought you talked about not following a diet. This is not a diet, because the problem with diet is that you're trying to take your lifestyle right now and change it to fit the diet. So if you're going to count calories, you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I change my life to fit this? The problem with that, it's not going to last. I can promise you that, because you're trying to change who you are in a way that will not, in a way that you cannot be consistent with. So what you got to do, you got to do the opposite. You take a look at one of these four, or even a combination of them, right? You can combine them as well, like 2 of them if you want to do that, and see how you can fit them in your current lifestyle. Does that make sense? So if you're right now really busy with work, you got kids taking up all your time, you got your spouse, you got all these things, right? Then it doesn't make sense to start counting calories, because that's going to take a lot of time. So maybe you can look at something that doesn't take a lot of time, maybe portion control or time control. Let's say you don't mind skipping breakfast. Well, then, looking at the strategy time control, you got intermittent fasting. That's a great way to start, because it's already fit into your life like a puzzle, right? So that's the first, part of the nutrition, the way you want to approach your nutrition. You got, the standard approach. This is what you do on your day-to-day life. However, this is what many people forget, is that you have behaviors right now that is currently stopping you from getting into shape, right? And I've been writing something, like there are many of them. I've been writing some of them down. So it can be overeating. It can be snacking. You might be snacking a lot throughout the day. You might have an issue with stress eating, or you have a low appetite, trying to gain weight, but you cannot eat much. What are these things? It's not a part of your diet. It's behaviors that when you feel a certain way, you have a certain emotion, it triggers that behavior, right? You start stress eating, or you're trying to, skip eating during the day and skip dessert and all these things, only to end up overeating at the end of the day and going crazy, ordering every single takeaway you can think of. These behaviors are currently barriers in your life. Barriers. Think about as a wall. You're trying to get to the other side, but this wall is stopping you. So you need to find an approach to every single barrier, every single wall, because these are different walls, different types of behaviors that are triggered in different ways, right? So this is why you can never use a diet to solve this, because this is deeply rooted in you as a person, the way you've been coping with your lifestyle, with your life, right? With the difficulties in your life. So you need to work with this from a different angle. And this is where the mindset comes in. Now, this is the nutrition. So you can start by applying a standard approach, start tracking, whatever fits your lifestyle. And then look at every single barrier you have. Write it down. Like if you have the note, pen and paper, write it down. What kind of barriers do you have? Like pause the video and write it down. If you have overeating, snacking, or if you can think about something else, right? It can be comfort eating. It can be whatever, right? And then try to solve that. Find a solution to every single barrier. And let me give you an example from one of my clients. So this is Mohammed from Canada, right? Originally from Pakistan, but he lives in Canada. So he joined the program a while ago. In his first 2 months, he lost 10 kilos of belly fat, and he didn't follow a diet plan. What he did was, one of the strategies I talked about was portion control. So here you can see the behavior we started to follow. Did you have half carb and double protein for your meal today? So if that doesn't make sense, we talked about it and we made sure that it needs to fit his lifestyle. He's very busy and he needs to be flexible. So what we did was, every single meal he had during the day, it could be breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, he would make sure that the carb source would be cut in half. So instead of that big bowl of rice, it will be half of that bowl, right? And then double the protein to make sure he's feeling full and make sure he's making his body stronger. So if it's a piece of chicken, he makes sure he doubles it, right? And that's what he was trying to follow every single day. So it can be this easy to follow the standard approach. Remember, one of these 4 strategies. And then you work on, if you have a barrier, you work on that, right? The next step of this protocol is to work on your daily physical activity. So it's not a workout plan, because those things doesn't work. I know, because you've probably done that. You've probably done the cardio, you've been running, you've been walking, you've been working out all these hours, nothing's happening because you're not doing it the right way. So let me show you a way that can fix this once and for all. So this is what I call the plan ABC strategy. This means that you're not going to have one plan, not 2 plans, but 3 plans. So what I mean is, you start with a plan A, which is going to be your to-go plan, the optimal plan, and and looking at it from a physical activity standpoint. I'm going to give you some examples talking about it. And then plan B is going to be less optimal, but it's going to make sure that you're still physically active. And the plan C is the minimum, the bare minimum you got to do for that day. And this is something you need to do every day. So you're not going to do all of them on one day, obviously. You're going to do them every single day. And depending on that day, if it's a good day or bad day, you make sure that either you do plan A, plan B, plan C. And this is going to help you to be physically active. And the funny thing is with this is it's actually from a hadith. So I cannot take credit from anything I'm talking about in this video. This is from the hadith. If you know about where the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned about the salah, the prayer, that you need to stand up for prayer. If you're unable to do that, you sit down. If you're unable to sit down, you lie down. You see, he never gave you an option to skip prayer. So you can be sick, you can be paralyzed, you still got to pray. So you see how Allah is giving us options to make sure we can live the Muslim lifestyle, have Islam in our lives on a daily basis, but with flexibility. Because whatever's consistent is flexible, and whatever's not flexible is not consistent. That's why diet plans won't work. That's why workout plans won't work. Why? Because they're not. So let's take a look at these examples. So let's say you have a gym membership. So the optimal plan is to go to the gym, have a workout 30 minutes, right? And you don't think about what you're doing there. You're just going to show up. That's the first step, first level. And let's say you don't have the energy. You came out home from work. You had a really bad day at work. You had a lot of things to do. So you come home. You don't want to go to the gym, but remember, you don't want to skip the daily physical activity. So you're doing like a 10-minute home workout. 10 minutes. It's nothing, right? And if you have kids, you can put them, distract them with some, halal TV. And then let's say you don't even want to do that. You're waking up and you just want to lie in your bed, don't want to go out, don't want to do nothing. At least you can do the plan C. Look, it can be a 5-minute walk. It can be a walk in your apartment for 5 minutes. It can be a walk around the neighborhood. It can even be 10 push-ups, right? If you want to like push-ups, or 10 sit-ups. It doesn't matter. It should be as small as possible for you to make sure you're going to do it even in your worst days. Does that make sense? You have 3 different plans depending on the day, right? So you don't have to change your life. You're just going to approach life, face the difficulties, but you are better equipped doing so. So that's the second step. And if we look at an example here, this is one of my clients, Sadia, from the States. And this has been a crazy journey. She started at, you can see here, but it's almost 210 pounds. After 2 months, she lost 20 pounds. And the funny thing is, she didn't do a single workout. This is her plan ABC we designed for her. She wanted to walk. She loved walking. That's what she wanted to do. So the plan A was to walk for 40 minutes. Plan B was to do half of that, 20 minutes. Plan C was doing 5 minutes. And every single day she did something. Anything, like at least one of these things. Because the problem before was she liked to walk along like 40 minutes, even 1 hour, 2 hours. But there were many days she didn't do that because she didn't have time. She had 5 kids and a full-time job. Obviously, it's not going to work. So we need to have this plan ABC in place. Remember, this is the second step. You need to do the first step and then the second step, right? So don't skip the steps. Now, you've been working on your nutrition. You're working on your physical activity. You got the foundation for your health to get in shape. But now you need to look at the other habits of your life. You need to create a system for your habit, a habit formation system. Why? Because this is part of Sunnah. There's a hadith, you can see it on the screen, that the most beloved deeds to Allah are those that are done regularly, even if they're few. Even if they're few. So rather, instead of reading the Quran, 1 juz, 10 pages, whatever, in one day, and put it on the shelf and never touch it for a week or 2, that's not how you do it. In fact, that's go against the Sunnah. Instead, read the Quran every day, even if it's just 1 verse. That's better. That's what Allah loves. It's even what Allah loves the most. So, for example, this is one of my clients that joined the program, and she really struggled with the prayer and struggled with her iman. And I know there are many of you out there struggling with your prayer. So please, if you're going to start working on habits, start working with the most important one, which is the 5 daily prayers. And then you can move on to pray, tahajjud, reading Quran, dhikr, whatever that might be. It can even be habits outside of Islam. It can be business habits. It can be, if you want to start developing a hobby or some sort. For in this case, with Nuria, we decided to work on the prayers. So we worked on the 5 daily prayers. So a different way of doing it, but instead of going all in, let's say you don't pray at all. Instead of trying to do all 5 prayers and be perfect, which is going to be very hard if you're very new to it, start with 1 prayer. Start focusing on 1 prayer. And this is a question I always ask. Which one of the prayers that you skip or miss would be the easiest one for you to pray on time, right? So for her, I think we started with Maghrib or Isha because she wasn't at work during that time. And you can see she did the program for 3 months and her Iman was at 1 out of 10, really bad. And then it went up here to an average of 6, right? Of course, it's not going to be 100%. We cannot be 100%, but you see how it changed while we were working on the habit formation. Obviously, we did nutrition, we did the physical activity, but it's going to be worthless if you're not trying to at least get closer to Allah. This is the Sunnah protocol, which means you want to get closer to Allah, right? You want to be a better Muslim. So this was one of the ways we did that to start praying on time. And then the 4th step, which is probably the most important step here. So I want you guys to listen up. If you're tired, please get yourself a cup of coffee or something and focus, because this one is going to be really important. Because the 4th step is to make sure that you have the support you need. Remember the 3rd and the top of the pyramid from Hadith Jibreel, the ihsan, to have support and accountability. So the way I do it with my clients, and you can copy this if you want to do it by yourself, is to have 2 branches, 2 parts of the support. You need to have daily support, you need to have weekly support. Why is that? Because if you look at it on a daily basis, that's where you look at your daily habits, right? Because habits are dynamic. They're very easy to build up and easy to let go of, right? You've probably seen this in your life as well. But it's not only that we need to focus on. We need to focus on the mindset. But the issue with mindset is not going to change overnight, because if you're 20 or 30 or 40, 50 years old, you've had this mindset for a long time now. So it's not going to change in a couple of days. So on a weekly basis, you try to approach the mindset you have and try to change it, getting closer to what is according to the Sunnah. And there are different ways of doing this. So this is how I do it. So now the Sunnah protocol, what it is, I should probably have mentioned this in the beginning, but it's a progressive program. So instead of doing a day challenge, becoming your best version of yourself, or following a diet plan or workout plan, these are just static ways of doing something. It's just, you do it or you don't. No. Progressive program, however, is looking and following these 4 steps I mentioned and looking at it from a daily point of view and a weekly point of view and changing it accordingly. I got many clients, for example, at the end of the first month, the program is so different that it's nothing like the first program we did in the beginning of the month. So the program needs to progress with you, just as Islam. If you think about it, when I became a new Muslim, I started to learn Al-Fatiha, right? And then I started to pray. And then I learned Surah Al-Ikhlas. And, you level up and progress together. The religion progresses with you, right? And you don't put more burden than what you can handle. Allah says in the Quran, in many places, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, that Allah does not put a burden on a soul more than what it can handle. So don't do that to yourself as well. So let's take a look at the support system you need to have in place. You need to have daily support system, which is daily habit follow-up, following up whatever habits you're doing or whatever habits you are skipping or falling off the track with. And then you need to have daily support messages, making sure that someone checks in with you. This is what I do with all my clients. I check in with them every single day. It can be, in connection with the habits, or, Assalamu alaikum, Mohammed, I saw you didn't pray Fajr yesterday. What happened? Oh, I slept late. Okay, let's fix that. Let's find a strategy, right? Or, Assalamu alaikum, Amina, I saw that you felt bad yesterday. You were a little bit low. What happened? Having that support, make sure that you're not alone inside of your head. Because if you're alone inside here, Shaitan gonna overpower you. You're not gonna win that battle. So have someone else to support you. And then you work with the barrier strategies. Remember the barriers I talked about with the nutrition? And funny enough, these barriers can be in other areas of your life. If you can have barriers with prayer, right? You have problem waking up to Fajr because you're sitting up all night playing video games. So these kind of barriers, you need to work with the strategies. This is what you do on a daily basis. On a weekly basis, however, remember, the daily is for your habits. So the weekly is for your mindset. So what I do with my clients is on a weekly basis, every Monday, we do holistic check-ins. So it's very simple. This is actually taken from therapy. So what we're doing is every Monday, they rate themselves from 1 to 10 in different areas of their life. They rating themselves in their Iman for that week, their stress levels, their hunger levels, sleep quality, emotional well-being. In this way, I can get to learn and know more about them, how they feel emotionally inside, and they get to know themselves. Because what happens is a lot of us, when we feel bad, we distract ourselves from that feeling, which is understandable. Like that's how you've been dealing with life, but it's not productive. It's not going to help you because the more you distract yourself, the more destructive it's going to be. That's why you're feeling so far away from where you want to be. And that's why your confidence is down. Your self-esteem is down. You have no energy because of this. And then on a weekly basis, we have mentor talks multiple times during the week. I talk with my clients one-on-one, in group settings, in different ways. So you need to have someone you can talk to live, one-on-one, right? So these messages, you can have someone sending messages, but sometimes you need to have the live interaction with a human being. And then we work on the mindset strategy. So if someone has, the all or nothing thinking, I have a client right now, she's from UK and struggling with the all or nothing thinking. Either she follows her nutrition strategy or she lets go and eat all the junk food she can think of. And then she feels guilt and she feels shame. And this is not productive. This is not going to help. The problem is not her behavior, it's the mindset. So just because you fall off track for one meal or whatever, or you feel tired that day, it doesn't mean that you're going to go ballistic and go crazy and all in and just leave your strategy. That's not going to help you. So you need these different strategies, right? So these are the 4 steps to apply the Sunnah protocol, which is the 3 areas you need to work with. You need to work with your habits, with your mindset, and your support system in your life. And now I want to ask you guys a very important question. All the things I've been talking about in this video, the Sunnah protocol, be honest with yourself right now. Do you think that the Sunnah protocol I've mentioned, the 4 different steps to manifest the habits, the mindset, and the support you need, do you think that this Sunnah protocol will help you reach your dream body and reach your dream lifestyle, whatever that might be? And instead of putting it as a yes or no question, I want you to think of a number that represent how well you think this Sunnah protocol will help you in achieving your dream body and dream lifestyle. So let's say 1 on this end here, left end, is that it will definitely not help you. In that case, you don't have to watch more of this video, right? And number 10, if you give a 10, is that it will definitely help you. So think about it. What number would you say? Because now, if the number is at least 9 or above, this means you're ready to start. You're ready to start this Sunnah protocol. And in that case, I have an offer for you. I will work together with you to make sure you apply this. You get the amazing results all of my clients are getting on a daily basis. No matter if you want to gain weight or lose weight, no matter if you want to work on reading more Quran or getting closer to Allah by praying on time, no matter what that might be, you are ready to do this. And I want to help you. So under this video, in the description below, there's going to be a link to a calendar where you can schedule a one-on-one call with me. Because if you're ready, let's talk about it and let's see if I can help you and then see how would that look like. And then we just get started, right? So if you're 9 or above, go down to this description below, click on the link to the calendar, schedule your time. And if there's not any suitable time, because maybe we're in different time zone, no worries. I mean, I have clients all over the world, the States, the UK, Australia, the Gulf. So I probably have sent, if not ready, you will get a message from me on your WhatsApp and we'll schedule a time that works for you. Now, if you're one of those people that you're not really 100% about this, you're under 9, maybe you said 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever that might be. There are many reasons for this, right? And from my experience, it can be that you feel that you have lack of time. You don't know how to add this in your life, the Sunnah protocol. Or maybe you have self-doubt. Maybe you think like, this is an amazing program. I want to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to be consistent with it because I've been breaking my promises before. I've been letting myself down before. I probably got to do it again. This is self-doubt. Now, this is a big part of your mindset. It's probably the reason why you are not successful in the things you want to do. So this is what we need to focus on. Or you feel hesitant in any way, shape, or form. You're not sure about this. Let's talk about it, right? So down below, if you don't want to schedule a call, instead, there's a link to my WhatsApp, my personal WhatsApp. So you can go there, send me a message. You're interested. You want to know more about this program. And let's just talk about it. Have a conversation. What's this thing that's stopping you from starting with this Sunnah protocol? How can I help you if I can help you, right? So if you're ready to start 9 or above, right, schedule the call. If you're under 9, go to the link to my WhatsApp, send me a message. If I haven't sent you a message already, of course, and inshallah, we'll find a way to make sure that this Sunnah protocol, that this system, this method is indeed going to change your life in the best way possible and help you to achieve the dream body and the dream lifestyle and the habits you need to get closer to Allah, inshallah ta'ala. And with that said, that's the end of the video. And I want to thank you so much for watching the whole of the video. And please leave a comment on the video. I'm going to make sure to read all the comments, inshallah. Until then, Assalamu alaikum.